Let me share something with you that changed my life. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not just financially, but emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. If you walk with confident thinkers, your thoughts begin to lift. But if you walk with complainers, your standards begin to settle. See, poverty is not just a condition of the wallet, it's a condition of the mind. And if you spend your time with people who joke about success, mock ambition, or justify mediocrity, don't be surprised when your motivation quietly packs up and leaves. And here's the truth most people run from. Discipline is painful, but so is regret. One is the pain of effort. The other is the pain of missed opportunity. The mind, if not led with intention, will drift toward convenience. And you can't build anything valuable on convenience. The world will offer you every excuse not to follow through. Comfort, comfort, comfort. But wealth whispers a different word. Clarity. And clarity comes from discipline, not chaos, not drama, but structure. And that's what we're here to build. So if you've ever wondered why some seem to multiply success while others stay stuck year after year, the answer isn't in the economy or the government. It's in how they manage their own mind. And that's the first fortune you must master. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Your day is too valuable to begin by accident. Most people wake up and immediately plug into someone else's agenda. They check their messages, scroll through the news, get pulled into problems that aren't even theirs. And before they know it, their mind is cluttered, their energy scattered, and their direction lost. But wealth thinkers, people who build real success, they don't live that way. They start with thinking time, intentional, focused thinking, not just to make decisions, but to shape their reality. Every morning before the noise of the world creeps in, you ought to set aside 20 minutes, just 20, to sit down and design your day. And I don't mean planning your schedule. I mean designing your mind. Get yourself a simple notebook and a quiet corner. No distractions, no technology, just you and your thoughts. Begin by journaling your financial goals. Write them as if they're already happening. I earn $10,000 a month from my business. I have $50,000 invested in my portfolio. I give generously and live abundantly. Why do this? Because repetition rewires the brain. If you can write it clearly, you can build it gradually. Next, review your priorities. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I must accomplish today that will move me closer to my financial future? Clarity creates movement. Without it, we stay busy but broke. With it, we become focused and free. I used to begin my days wondering what might happen now. I begin by deciding what will happen. That shift alone changed my bank account. Then comes the visualization. Now, don't dismiss this as fluff. I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about mental rehearsal. See yourself succeeding. Close your eyes and imagine yourself making the phone call, closing the deal, finishing the project, depositing the check. Visualizing is rehearsing, and the mind rehearses long before the hand performs. Athletes do this. Performers do this. Wealth creators must do this. The clearer the mental picture, the faster the physical result. Now, I know you're busy. 20 minutes might feel like a luxury. But let me ask you, what's the cost of not thinking clearly? Rushed decisions, missed opportunities, another year gone with no progress. I'd rather spend 20 minutes each morning aligning my mind than 20 years wondering why nothing changed. The rich aren't smarter. They're just more intentional. They spend time in thought before they spend time in action. Years ago, I worked with a man who ran a $1 million business. You'd expect him to be in a frenzy, but every morning he'd sit in his office, door closed, thinking. No phone, no computer, just pen and paper. When I asked what he was doing, he said, "I'm making money with my mind." That stuck with me. Wealth begins with thought. If you plant chaos in the morning, you'll harvest confusion by night. But if you plant order, focus, and vision, you'll reap direction, action, and results. This daily thinking, ritual journaling, reviewing, visualizing it, rewires the brain. Not overnight, but gradually. thought by thought. It helps you stop reacting and start designing. And when you design the day, you direct your destiny. Don't let the world dictate your mind, take the reins. That's how the wealthy live, not just by working harder, but by thinking better. The greatest wealth is built first in the invisible world of thought before it ever touches the visible world of money. I often say, you can't earn more than you learn. And that's not just a clever rhyme, it's a fundamental truth about success. See, most people want to change their financial life, but they're still trying to do it with the same thinking that got them broke in the first place. They're trying to earn a new level of income with an old level of understanding. But if you want to build a new life financially, mentally, emotionally, you got to build a new library, because your library determines your future. Now, I'm not talking about building a bookshelf that looks impressive. I'm talking about building a financial library, a carefully chosen set of books that reshape your beliefs about money, business, mindset, and value creation. But here's the key. You don't need to devour it all in a weekend. Start small, just 10 pages a day. That's it, 10 pages. You could do it with your morning coffee or just before bed. And over a year, you'll have read 12 full-length books. That's 12 voices of wisdom, 12 different perspectives on wealth, 12 conversations with mentors you may never meet in person, but whose ideas can change your destiny. I started with just one book. Someone handed it to me when I was broke, frustrated, and full of excuses. The first 10 pages hit me like a ton of bricks, not because the ideas were complex, but because they were true. They showed me that I didn't have an income problem, I had a thinking problem. And when my thinking changed, my income followed. That's how it works. Readers become earners. See, the wealthy don't just work hard, they work smart. And reading is one of the smartest moves you can make. When you read, you compress decades of someone else's experience into a few hours of your time. Imagine that 10 years of trial and error, success and failure, lessons learned the hard way, and you get it all in one book. That's leverage. That's wisdom on demand. Now, you might say, I'm not much of a reader. That's fine. You don't have to be fast. You just have to be consistent. Don't wait for motivation. Create a habit. 10 pages a day, no exceptions. And be intentional about what you read. Skip the gossip and the fluff. Choose books that build your future. Books on sales, investing, leadership, negotiation, money psychology. Books that challenge you. Books that make you pause and think, I've been doing this all wrong. Every wealthy person I've met has a library. And it's not just for show. It's a reflection of who they're becoming. They know something most don't, that the more you feed your mind, the more your life expands. I remember sitting in a modest apartment with barely enough money for bills. But I made it a point to buy a book every month, even if it meant cutting back on something else. Those books became my escape route. They became the blueprint. If you want to change your circumstances, start with your shelves. Fill them with wisdom, not distractions. Turn your living room into a learning room. Let your books whisper better ideas, stronger strategies, and new beliefs into your mind. Because the truth is, your future is already sitting on someone's page. You just haven't read it yet. Readers become earners. Investors in knowledge become investors in life. And if you commit to just 10 pages a day, a year from now, you won't just be thinking differently, you'll be living differently. Let me share something that changed the trajectory of my life. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of your examples. That's why choosing the right mentors is not just a smart move, it's a critical one. If you want to build wealth, if you want to transform your thinking, if you want to live with discipline and clarity, then you must find people who are already living the results you desire. But here's the catch. Mentorship isn't always about sitting across from someone at a coffee shop. Often, the greatest mentorship comes through proximity to their thinking, not their presence. When I was young and broke, I didn't have wealthy friends. I didn't know successful business owners. But what I did have was the hunger to learn. So I started with what I could access. I found books, recordings, seminars. I bought them with the little money I had, and those resources became my mentors. They challenged me, they corrected me, they planted seeds of ideas I had never considered. One line from a mentor can undo years of wrong thinking. One idea heard at the right moment can rewire your entire money mindset. You have to be intentional about whose voices are shaping your beliefs. If you want to be wealthy, don't take advice from people who are constantly broke. If you want discipline, don't follow those who live in chaos. Study people who've built something real, who've mastered their time, created value, invested wisely, and lead with integrity. Follow their work closely. Listen to what they say and what they do. Because often it's not just what they teach, it's how they carry themselves, how they approach problems, how they stay composed under pressure. Their mindset is the lesson. Start by identifying the people whose results you admire. Maybe it's a business leader, a writer, a real estate investor, a wealth coach. Pay attention to their ideas. Buy their books. Enroll in their courses. Join their communities. You don't need to have lunch with them to be mentored by them. Their wisdom captured in pages or videos or podcasts is just as powerful if you take it seriously. Too many people are waiting for a real mentor to show up before they get serious. Don't wait. Begin with access to their ideas. That's where real change starts. And don't just consume passively, engage actively. Take notes. Reflect. Apply. Ask yourself, how does this thinking differ from mine? What habits do they have that I don't? What do they value that I've been ignoring? A good mentor doesn't just teach, they provoke. They get you to question the mediocre thoughts that keep you stuck. They help you upgrade your financial thermostat. Years ago, I listened to a mentor speak about money with such clarity it embarrassed me. Not because he judged me, but because I saw how small my thinking had been. I'd been focused on survival, and he was focused on value creation. I was trying to get by, he was building systems. That one talk snapped me out of my excuses. I went home, cleaned out my calendar, refocused my daily routines, and built a new money plan, all from a mentor I had never met. That's the power of choosing your mentors wisely. You don't need them in your living room, you need them in your head. You need to think like they think, speak like they speak, plan like they plan. When that happens, your actions shift and your income follows. Because wealth always starts with alignment of thought. Choose your mentors carefully. Because in the long run, your mentors shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your money. There's something extraordinary that happens when you bring together a group of people who share a common purpose and a hunger for growth. It's called a mastermind group, a term that has been around for ages but never loses its power. When you create a circle of growth-minded peers committed to wealth building, you create a force multiplier for your mental discipline and financial success. Because let me tell you, wealth is rarely a solo journey. It's a collective adventure fueled by accountability, shared wisdom, and relentless action. Now, how do you set this up? It begins with a simple idea: weekly challenges. Each week, your mastermind picks one financial or business goal, a challenge that pushes everyone a little beyond their comfort zone. Maybe it's researching a new investment strategy, launching a small sales campaign, or creating a budget review process. One member volunteers to teach or share insights on the challenge, breaking it down so the whole group understands the practical steps. Then, everyone applies what they learned throughout the week. When you gather again, you share your progress, your hurdles, and your wins. That's the rhythm that builds momentum, habit, and ultimately, discipline. Why does this work? Because humans are wired for connection and accountability. When you say, I'm going to do this by next week, and you know your peers will check in, you're much less likely to let yourself off the hook. You'll find yourself pushing through discomfort, finding solutions, and prioritizing your goals, not because someone's policing you, but because you respect the group, and more importantly, you respect yourself. This accountability acts like a compass. keeping you on the path when distractions and excuses want to pull you away. I remember when I first embraced this idea. I was surrounded by folks who talked about success but never took concrete steps. I started inviting a few serious-minded friends to commit to small weekly challenges. At first it was awkward. People hesitated, some fell behind. But gradually, as results showed up, the energy changed. People who once doubted their ability began sharing breakthroughs. Conversations moved from complaining about problems to solving them. The group's momentum became unstoppable because discipline was no longer an isolated battle. It was a shared mission. There's also immense value in the diversity of perspectives. One person might have a background in real estate, another in sales, another in personal finance. When each member takes a turn leading a challenge, the whole group benefits from a rich tapestry of knowledge and experience. It sharpens your thinking and expands your toolbox. You learn not just what to do, but how to do it from different angles. This cross-pollination of ideas is where innovation and financial breakthroughs begin. Remember, a mastermind isn't about ego or competition, it's about collaboration and growth. It's about holding each other to higher standards, celebrating small victories, and learning from setbacks without judgment. It's about creating an environment where mental discipline is practiced daily, not just talked about. And when discipline becomes your default, wealth is a natural outcome. So, find your peers who are as hungry as you are for success, commit to a weekly rhythm, set clear challenges that stretch your comfort zones, teach, learn, apply, and review. This cycle will train your mind to focus, execute, and grow relentlessly. Because when you surround yourself with doers, your own discipline can't help but rise to meet them. And that's how ordinary people become wealth creators. The secret to wealth lies not just in what you know, but in who you move with and what you commit to doing together. Every evening, as the day winds down and the quiet sets in, a powerful habit can transform the trajectory of your financial life. It's simple but profound. Take a moment to ask yourself, what thought did I entertain today that didn't serve me? That single question is a gateway to mental clarity and discipline, which are the unseen currencies behind lasting wealth. Wealth isn't just about dollars and cents. It begins in the mind and the beliefs and attitudes that shape your actions, decisions, and habits. Just like a gardener tends to his plants, trimming the dead branches to allow new growth, you must prune your mind daily. Mental junk, negative thoughts, doubts, fears, limiting belief sacks like weeds in your mental garden. If you allow them to grow unchecked, they choke out the seeds of opportunity, confidence, and action. When you catch yourself entertaining a thought like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never get ahead, don't just let it pass. Write it down. This act alone is powerful because what gets named becomes manageable. Awareness is the first step to change. Then take it a step further and rewrite that thought into a belief that empowers you. Instead of, I'm not good enough, write, I'm learning every day and my persistence is creating my success. Instead of, I'll never get ahead, transform it to, every step forward brings me closer to my financial freedom. This practice rewires your brain over time. It's like retraining a muscle. The more you consciously replace mental junk with empowering beliefs, the stronger and more disciplined your mind becomes. You start to notice patterns and triggers those moments when doubt creeps in or when fear tries to slow you down. And instead of surrendering, you have the tools to shift your thinking and keep moving forward. I recall early in my career, before I understood this process, how often I was my own worst enemy. I'd entertain thoughts of failure or inadequacy, and those thoughts would keep me stuck in inaction. But when I committed to this nightly ritual, catching those destructive thoughts and rewriting them, I began to build a mental discipline that was unshakable. It was the foundation for making better decisions, staying focused, and ultimately creating wealth. It's important to recognize that this mental pruning is ongoing. Just as a farmer must tend his fields each season, you must tend your mind every day. There will always be moments of doubt or fear, but your discipline is measured by how quickly and effectively you uproot those weeds and plant seeds of strength and confidence instead. Wealth thinkers don't leave their mental state to chance. They understand that wealth is as much a mindset as it is a bank balance. By eliminating mental junk every night, you clear the path for clarity, purpose, and action. You create an internal environment where opportunity is seen clearly, risk is calculated wisely, and confidence propels you forward. So tonight, as you reflect on your day, ask yourself, what thought didn't serve me? Write it down. Then rewrite it into a belief that drives you forward. Make this ritual a non-negotiable part of your mental discipline. It is in this daily practice that you cultivate the mindset that not only attracts wealth, but sustains it. Remember, the wealthiest minds are those that prune their thoughts as carefully as they manage their money. There is a subtle but profound power in what your eyes fix upon throughout the day. The human mind is not just a thinking machine, it is a sensing machine. It absorbs the world around it, often without conscious effort. And these sensory inputs silently shape your habits, attitudes, and focus. This is why using visual triggers is one of the simplest yet most effective tools to build mental discipline and stay relentlessly focused on your financial goals. Imagine walking into your workspace and the very first thing your eyes land on is a quote that speaks directly to your ambition. Something like, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment," or "Wealth flows to those who prepare for it." These aren't just words, they are reminders that align your mind instantly with your purpose. When you see them day after day, your brain starts to associate your environment with focus and action. This is no accident. It's the principle of conditioning in motion. I've seen this in my own journey and in countless stories of success. Visual triggers act as anchors for your intentions. When distractions arise or motivation wanes, these reminders serve as gentle nudges, pulling your attention back to what matters most. Without these visual cues, it's easy to drift into complacency or get overwhelmed by the noise of daily life. But with them, you build an environment that supports mental discipline naturally. One practical way to implement this is to create goal card simple, handwritten notes that outline your key financial objectives. Place these cards strategically where your eyes naturally rest, on your desk, beside your computer monitor, or even on the bathroom mirror. Seeing your goals reflected in your daily routine strengthens your commitment and keeps your subconscious mind working toward them even when you're not actively thinking. Charts and progress trackers are another powerful tool. When you visually track your savings growth, investment returns, or debt reduction, you create a tangible representation of your efforts. This visibility sparks motivation because it shows progress in real terms. It also disciplines you to maintain habits that contribute to those upward trends. In my experience, people who chart their progress are far more consistent and intentional than those who rely on vague hopes or verbal affirmations alone. Affirmations, when placed visually, work in harmony with your emotional state. Phrases like, "I am capable of financial success," or "I attract opportunities every day," planted around your workspace help reprogram your subconscious mind. The repeated exposure to positive statements rewires your mental pathways to support confidence and clarity, which are essential for disciplined financial decisions. The key is consistency and intentionality. Your workspace should be a sanctuary for your wealth-building mindset. Declutter distractions and replace them with these visual anchors. They don't just remind you of your goals, they cultivate an atmosphere where disciplined action becomes easier and more natural. Remember, mental discipline is not built solely in moments of fierce willpower. It's nurtured in the environment you create for yourself every day. What your eyes see regularly becomes your mind's focus. Use visual triggers as constant reminders to keep your eyes on the prize, your mind sharp, and your habits aligned with your financial destiny. When you train your eyes to see your goals daily, you train your mind to believe in them. And when your mind believes, your actions follow steadily, surely, and with unwavering discipline. Success is a moment to celebrate, yes, but more importantly, It is an invitation to call to reinvest in yourself and your future. Far too many people fall into the trap of treating every win as a green light to inflate their lifestyle, buy the latest gadgets, or live beyond their means. But the wealthy understand a deeper truth. Real success is not just about what you accumulate in the moment, but about how you use those gains to elevate your mind, your environment, and your opportunities. When you earn more, the smartest move is to reinvest those earnings not into fleeting pleasures, but into upgrading your circle and your skills. That's how you build lasting wealth. Think about it this way. Your environment shapes your thinking, your decisions, and ultimately your results. When you surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to grow, your own potential expands. Upgrading your circle means stepping into communities that elevate your standards and broaden your perspective. Maybe it's joining a mastermind group, attending conferences with top performers, or simply spending more time with mentors who have walked the path you aspire to follow. These are not just social activities. They are strategic moves that place you in an orbit of excellence where your mindset and habits will naturally evolve. But upgrading your circle alone is not enough. You must also reinvest in yourself, your knowledge and skills. The world moves fast, and resting on what you know today guarantees you'll fall behind tomorrow. Take courses that stretch your thinking, read books that challenge your assumptions, and practice skills that increase your value. It could be learning a new technology, mastering negotiation, or diving deeper into financial literacy. Whatever it is, make learning a non-negotiable part of your success reinvestment strategy. I've seen this principle work in my own life countless times. Early on, whenever I had a financial win, I could have spent it on comforts and distractions, but instead, I made it a rule to spend a portion on books, seminars, and connecting with people who inspired me. That reinvestment created a cycle of growth that propelled me far beyond what I could have imagined if I'd simply spent my money to feel good in the short term. Reinvesting success this way creates momentum. Every new skill you acquire sharpens your edge. Every new connection opens a door. The cycle repeats, and your wealth compounds, not just financially, but in wisdom and influence. And this compounding effect is the real secret behind sustained success. You're not just spending money, you're buying future potential. When you upgrade your circle, you're investing in the power of association, where the quality of your relationships shapes the quality of your life. When you upgrade your skills, you're investing in your capacity to create value, innovate, and solve problems. So when your income grows, don't let lifestyle inflation dictate your choices. Celebrate your wins, but then ask yourself, how can I invest this success to become smarter, stronger, and better connected? What communities will elevate me? What knowledge will transform me? The answer to those questions will determine whether your success is a fleeting moment or a foundation for lifelong wealth. Remember, wealth is not just about money, it's about continuous growth, relentless improvement, and strategic reinvestment. Make your wins work for you, and your future self will thank you. No one ever climbs the mountain of success alone. We are wired for connection, for collaboration, for the exchange of ideas and support. Isolation breeds weakness because it cuts you off from perspectives, knowledge, and encouragement that are vital to growth. When you try to go it alone, you risk getting stuck in your own blind spots, overwhelmed by challenges that others have already navigated. Wealth thinkers understand this fundamental truth. Association builds strength, and strength builds wealth. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are striving for excellence, something remarkable happens. The collective energy lifts everyone higher. It's like iron sharpening iron. The conversations you have, the ideas you exchange, and the counsel you receive refine your thinking and fuel your ambition. The people you associate with become mirrors and mentors, reflecting back the possibilities you might not have seen on your own. They hold you accountable and inspire you to keep going, even when the path gets tough. I've witnessed countless times how simply changing your environment can change your trajectory. When I started paying attention to who I spent my time with and began to seek out those who were already achieving the kinds of results I wanted, my mindset shifted. Suddenly, what once seemed impossible felt achievable. Their habits, their discipline, their ways of thinking became contagious. I wasn't just learning from books, I was learning from living examples. Wealth isn't just a number in a bank account. It's a network of relationships built on trust, value, and mutual growth. When you seek counsel from those who have been where you want to go, you accelerate your learning curve and avoid costly mistakes. Trading ideas within a trusted circle sharpens your strategies and uncovers opportunities that you might miss alone. These relationships open doorstep partnerships to investments, to knowledge that become critical stepping stones on your path to success. Think about the last time you faced a tough decision. Did you reach out to someone wiser or more experienced? Did you surround yourself with positive thinkers or fall prey to doubt and discouragement? The choice of association can make or break your momentum. The wealthy don't hoard knowledge or opportunities. They share, collaborate, and build communities that elevate everyone involved. There's a reason so many successful people talk about the power of masterminds and mentorship. It's not just about gaining advice, it's about immersing yourself in an environment where growth is the default. When you surround yourself with wealth thinkers, people who prioritize learning, action, and integrity, you create a gravitational pull toward success. No one builds an empire in isolation. Your network is your net worth, not just financially, but intellectually and emotionally. If you want to go far, walk with thinkers who are already headed where you want to go. Find those who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Invest your time and energy in cultivating these relationships and watch how your mindset, habits, and wealth begin to transform. Remember, success is a team sport. Don't isolate yourself and expect to win. Instead, associate wisely and build the kind of wealth that lasts a lifetime. As we draw this conversation to a close, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we've discussed, not just as ideas, but as practical steps you can start taking today. Building wealth and success isn't about luck or waiting for the right moment. It's about how you use your mind, your time, and your relationships every single day. The foundation of all achievement is mental discipline, the ability to control your thoughts, focus your actions, and stay committed to a vision that stretches beyond the immediate moment. Remember, wealth thinkers don't drift through life, they design it. They understand that success is a process, not a one-time event. It's the daily rituals, the intentional habits, and the quality of the company you keep that determine whether you thrive or merely survive. You've been given powerful tools, the ability to choose your thoughts, to surround yourself with those who elevate you, to invest your time wisely, and to act with purpose. These are the building blocks of a life filled with abundance. But knowledge alone isn't enough. What separates those who achieve from those who only dream is action. You must take what you've learned and put it into motion. Start with one thing, whether it's setting a daily thinking ritual, joining a mastermind group, or cutting out time-wasting distractions. Each step forward compounds, creating momentum that carries you toward the financial freedom and fulfillment you seek. Let me be clear, this journey is not always easy. You'll face setbacks, doubts, and moments when motivation wanes. That's why building mental discipline is so critical. It's the muscle that keeps you moving when enthusiasm fades. It's the quiet confidence that whispers, keep going, even if progress seems slow. If you cultivate this discipline, you'll find that challenges become opportunities and obstacles turn into stepping stones. Now, I want to challenge you to make a commitment, not just to wealth, but to the mindset and habits that create it. Choose to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. Commit to daily reflection and intentional thought. Make generosity a strategic part of your life, knowing that what you give returns multiplied. Invest in your growth relentlessly And remember that the wealth you build is about more than money. It's about becoming the person who attracts and handles wealth with wisdom. Take control of your 24 hours. Design your life instead of reacting to it. Let your actions today shape the success you'll celebrate tomorrow. The choice is yours. Will you settle for average, or will you rise to the extraordinary potential within you? So, start now. Write down your goals. Reach out to a new mentor. Set aside time for focused thinking. Take one steppany step that moves you closer to the life you deserve. Wealth is waiting for those who show up, prepare, and persist. Remember, success is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. Choose wisely. Choose discipline. Choose growth. Choose the company of wealth thinkers. And watch as your world transforms in ways you never thought possible.